How's it going, guys? It's Cole with See-Through Panel. I just recently got my monthly package of pre-order comics for October, so I was going to do a quick video showing off all the comics I got in October. I won't be spoiling anything, and to be honest, I think I've only read one of the books I'll be talking about because I literally just got all of them. So I will begin with one that I have read just to get it out of the way. That would be Vuz by Philippe Drouillet, published by Titan Comics on the Static Press imprint, retailing for $30 US. Vuz is a science fantasy tale, mostly quiet at the beginning and gets more and more dialogue as we go. Not something I can show off a ton because it's extremely vulgar, has a lot of nudity and sexual content, and to be honest is one of the most I'll just go with vulgar again. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a lot. It is brash. It is not afraid to be sexual and gross and indulgent. It's Drouillet almost at the level of The Night, if anyone's read that. It is a very, very beautiful but very, very in-your-face comic. It's, as you can see, it's black and white, but it's actually this blue hue. Not sure how well the camera picks that up versus the actual black, but it's all in this blue kind of ink. Nice chapter break art you always get with Drouillet. Follows our titular character Vuz, or Views, not sure, as he goes through pillaging. He's kind of a criminal, not really a conventional protagonist. I'm actually going to leave this here because I do want to discuss something with my next book, which is The Collected Topi, Volume 8, The Collector. Just while I have them both here, I wanted to talk about something that I realized when I got them, is that Static Press and Magnetic Press both put out a similar kind of book, usually a European, underappreciated by Americans type thing, but someone that's very celebrated in their home country. But Magnetic Press tends to have a really, really high build quality, even though, as you can see, this is only $5 more than the Drouillet book, and it has a nice sewn binding. It has spot varnish on the cover, rounded corners, which is really cool and sets the Magnetic Press books apart, and just a very high build quality, and something that I don't think is present in a lot of Titans books. Don't get me wrong, I'm super happy to have them in my library. They are the only way I can get Drouillet books at this time, but they just feel like regular hardcovers, and that's not something that would ever bother me or anyone else until you get your hands on one of these Magnetic books, because they just feel so nice. They're just the actual materials they're using are just so much nicer, and they have a $5 difference, which is just really interesting to me. Again, I'm not knocking Titan Comics or Static Press. The books they put out are entirely unique to Americans, and we can't get them any other way, and I'm really thankful for them for allowing us to have that kind of stuff, but Magnetic just hits it out of the park every time. Anyway, though, this is Volume 8 of The Collected Topi, and it is, as I always say, it's just, I get every Topi book that comes out. I think this will be the 10th in the collection, in the series, and it's obvious why I get them. Just this luscious, very detailed artwork, black and white, patterns within patterns. I think this is getting near, or might be, the end of the collection, and I think we're going to be having close to all of the works of Topi collected in English for us for, I think, the first time. And I'm just really thankful to have these in my collection. Magnetic Press puts out Matthew Bablay's work as well, and just it's a similar build for the book. It's just really, really nice, so always love getting their books. Next up, we'll do a little bit of manga, and I wanted to discuss these two books in a similar way because there's them in terms of size next to each other, and here's Dissolving Classroom. This is the deluxe collector's edition, in quotes, of The Dissolving Classroom. The original paperback was put out by Vertical. This edition is put out by Kodansha. But it is small. I mean, it's bigger than the paperback, don't get me wrong. But even compared to Ito's books, which are not super large, it's pretty small. And the Ito book is $20, and the Kodansha book is $25. And it's just not at all comparable in terms of quality of the build. There is some color pages in here, which I'm not sure if there's color pages in the Ito book. There's not usually. Doesn't seem like it to me. But the build quality, as I'm about to show, is not similar. But I am excited to have Dissolving Classroom in my collection as a hardcover, because prior I only had the paperback, and every other Ito book I had was hardcover. So it was nice to have this in hardcover just to complete the kind of look for the collection. But putting that aside, Black Paradox, the reason I think this is a higher quality is just apparent at the cover. There's a really, really cool effect I haven't seen with the lettering in terms of the actual placement of it, where it's flipped here and even on here. And I really like that effect. It's really cool. I assume it's going to be part of the themes of the book or the plot. Spot varnish on the back, and there's this kind of rainbowy, glittery effect to all the letters on the front. It's a bit difficult to get it on the camera. Hopefully you can see some of it. But yeah, just classic Junji Ito horror stuff. I get everything that comes out from him, usually published by Viz here in America. These are the only two non-Viz books, this Vertical one and the Kodansha hardcover. So I'm not sure how that really worked out, but that is older material. So I'm sure it probably just changed hands afterward. But yeah, Ito just draws some really disturbing stuff. It's never like rated R or anything, but he still manages to just gross the hell out of you without having to do nudity or a lot of gore or things like that. Yeah, love Ito. Happy to have this. I'm missing Tomie, and that is the only book I'm missing for Ito so far, I believe. And finally, for manga, I gotta speed this up. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. Blade of the Immortal by Hiroki Samura, Volume 7, Deluxe Edition. Dark Horse, doing the awesome faux leather deluxe editions for $50 a piece, just like with Berserk. Except for this one I can actually show you because it's not all nudity like Berserk. This is my favorite manga of all time. I think I've said that on the podcast a couple times. I just think it is I have problems remembering the genres of manga, but it's the one level up from shonen where it's kind of a young adult or an adult plot line. It's not like increasing power levels and kind of more Dragon Ball Z type stuff. It's a very adult story, serious, grounded, a large cast of characters with a lot of emotional depth, and an art style that is incomparable to my eyes to anything I've seen in manga or just in comics in general. I mean, it's really, really nice looking. I'll have to find a nice panel to bring up here. And Dark Horse does not disappoint. The older editions I had were paperback and were maybe 3/4 of the size. And this is just a nice format to have this book in. $50 is a lot. If you're going for stuff like this or Berserk in those deluxe editions, pre-order. Always pre-order stuff. You're going to get it around half price every single time. So instead of paying $500 for the entire series of Blade of the Immortal, you're paying $250, and that's over the course of like 3 years as they're coming out. So it doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't hurt as bad. You can maybe do mental gymnastics like me to rationalize paying so much for a bunch of paper. But that's beside the point. Let's go with The World of Black Hammer, Library Edition, Volume 4 by Dark Horse. It's a big book. The biggest I've got besides one other. It is also $50. Dark Horse is getting my money, and they're earning it, really. It has Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy and the Unbelievable Unteens. I must admit, I have not been keeping up with Black Hammer enough, similar cover, to know much about these, but I know that I love all of the artists in here. So I always had a problem pronouncing. Tansi Zanjic, I think, does the art for the first miniseries. Rubin does a brief interlude, and then Tyler Crook does the actual next miniseries. Jeff Lemire on writing duties for both, with Ray Fox contributing for the interlude with Rubin. So, can't go wrong with Jeff Lemire, and these artists do not hurt. Tansi Zanjic has a really, really cool style, kind of classical cartooning, in my opinion. I love his use of ink. Actually, before I misattribute that, okay, he is inking himself. Okay, good. I was hoping so. Awesome little black and white shift there. Not much to say. I think I've only read 2 of the World of Black Hammer library editions, and this is 4, so I don't want to speak out of turn and say something that is not true. I'm just going to say I've loved all the stuff I have read of Black Hammer, so I'm sure that I will not be disappointed by this. There's some Tyler Crook art, wonderful. And then, yeah, Rubin doing this short story in between. His classic style. Go see the Cosmic Detective video I did if you want some more Rubin art. He always does everything on his books. He art, colors, letters. And that's awesome. And then after that, we'll get some Crook. Wonderful watercolor Tyler Crook art. First saw him on Harrow County and been in love with him ever since. So I would love to flip through that more, but we need to get going. Barry Windsor Smith's Monsters. I know this got a million accolades when it came out, and people had been waiting for it for as long as I've been alive. But I actually had no idea what it was. I only know Barry Windsor Smith based off of his, when people talk about him. I don't think I've ever seen much of his art besides some Wolverine stuff. But unfortunately, my copy did come with a little ding in it, but really, who cares about that when the content is fine on the inside. Fantagraphics published this absolute monster of a book. Where's our price tag? $40. Another little bit of a fold there. For a huge, absolutely gigantic book here. And I know at least the beginning has no nudity. I'm not sure about the rest, so I'll show that off. This is really my first real experience with Barry Windsor Smith. I know some people will be in awe of that and thinking that I don't know anything about comics. I think I do, but I just haven't delved deep into him as a creator much. And I know this is a work that people were waiting for a long, long time, and he was taking aches and pains over every little detail. And that shows. And this won all kinds of awards when it came out. So I am really, really excited. I know Fahed, my partner on See-Through Panel, read this and really, really enjoyed it. So I'll be very happy to, wow, this looks insane, to get into this. But yeah, that's that. The biggest book I received this month. Only a few more, if you'll bear with me. Junie Ba's Monkey Meat, the first batch by Image Comics, paperback. Retailing for $17 US. This is another one I have to thank Fahed for. He showed me Jaliyah, spelled with a D, Djaliya by Junie Ba, which was from, I think, TKO. Hopefully I'm not wrong on that. And we talked about that on the podcast a bit, and it is just awesome. Junie Ba kind of has the Genndy Tartakovsky look. If you've seen Samurai Jack or any of his other works, he's doing everything on this. Like, there's not even a letters page, or there's not even a credits page. It's just a comic created by Junie Ba, and you don't see that often. That's really, really cool. He's drawing it, he's inking it, he's lettering it, he's coloring it, he's writing it. And he's just ridiculously, endlessly creative in the designs that he does. And the layouts are even very, very cool. I know it's an anthology book about like a company that's producing this product known as monkey meat. It has like baked in advertisements for the world, little black and white stuff. There's some of those advertisements. And yeah, he's just incredible. Really, really good creator. I've been looking forward to his new stuff ever since Jalea, however you say it. And yeah, really excited to have that finally. And it says the first batch, which makes me believe there will be a second trade, which I'm really excited about. Follow Me Down, a Reckless book by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips by Image, retailing for $25. Classic Brubaker and Phillips crime. I will not flip through this very much because I'm not sure if there is a lot of nudity. But it's classic crime noir stuff by Brubaker and Phillips, with Sean Phillips' son, Jacob Phillips, now coloring him. And I might say that he has never looked better than when he has Jacob coloring him. It's fantastic. Almost carefree in the way he puts down color. It's kind of splattery and splotchy at times, but it works so well. I'll flip a couple more here. I don't think you would have gotten that yellow for the reflections of the light on the water with any other colorist. I think Jacob would be the one to do that. Or this angular cut of the light here. The offset, kind of like he shifted the panels of the color. It's very strange. Really like it though. I've not been reading enough of the Reckless books. I think this is number 4 or 5. And I love everything they do, so I'm sure I'm going to love it. But lastly, Refrigerator Full of Heads. Let's make sure I got the full credits before I speak out of turn here. Where are these credits? Okay. Looks like we're not going to get a good credits. So I'm going to say, written by Rio Ewers, art by Tom Fowler, and then, see, that's the problem with not having credits on there. Wow. Dust jackets, not a huge fan of dust jackets. I much prefer this cover. So I'm kind of happy this cover is actually on the book and not the dust jacket. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Maybe we can get in here, find it. Joe Hill House imprint at DC, just been doing a lot of really cool horror comics. And I'm sure a lot of people read the other Full of Heads book. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to look behind me real quick and find out what I'm missing here. Oh my god. Basket Full of Heads. I'm so sorry. It was Basket Full of Heads. This is a sequel with a different artist and writer, but I've heard really good things about it. And Tom Fowler is awesome. I was hoping I could flip enough to get to some type of credits page. There we go. Last page of issue 1. Written by Rio Ewers, drawn by Tom Fowler, colored by Bill Crabtree, lettered by And World Design, cover by Sam Wolf Connolly, variant cover by Leo Max. Oh, so Leo Max did. So this is the actual first cover. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, Leo Max doing a completely different style than I've ever seen him do. Who did the cover on the actual book itself? I'm not sure. I like to think maybe Leo Max after I saw that other cover. I wouldn't think so initially, but seeing that other one, it could be. Really like that. But yeah, I haven't read this yet. I really like to add horror books to my collection because I don't feel like there's enough good horror comics out there right now as there should be. I think it deserves more recognition as a genre in comics. Although it's actually getting there. James Tynion himself is leading the charge on that one, and so is Hill House. But yeah, for all this stuff in 1 month, it just seems like a lot, especially going through it. Took all that time to go through it, and to figure out that the name of the previous series was Basket Full of Heads. But yeah, this is a ton of stuff. So I'm not even gonna put monsters up here. It's too heavy. I don't want it to weigh down everything. But yeah, if you guys read any of these, let me know what you thought of them. I'm gonna be diving into them this month, and hopefully November's haul is a little smaller so I can catch up on some stuff. But appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.